And we're back with some more Arizona Coyotes franchise mode in FHM 10. And in this one, we have the continuation of the offseason of year number 7, coming off yet another disappointing season where we did not make the playoffs. We started this thing out year number 1, 2029-30, no playoffs, understandable. It wasn't exactly our team at that point, you know, we were just getting started. But then you have year 2, second round exit, I think. So I thought things were looking up at that point, but then first round exit, no playoffs, first round exit, no playoffs. So it's just been one disappointment after another here in Arizona. And obviously we are still in need of a new head coach. I am still currently the head coach, but obviously that didn't work out too well for the latter half of last season. Got a bunch of assistant coaches on right now, but none of them are going to be our new head coach. But who is going to be our new head coach? I was deliberating between 3 guys. Alexei Altonen, he was one candidate, but ultimately I decided on someone else. There was also Billy Frank, high motivation, high tactics, standard physical. But the guy who I decided on in the end is none other than Brad Larson. He's got the standard offensive preference, physical preference, aggressive line matching tendency like that, conservative goalie handling, prefers prospects. So that's a bit unfortunate in that we have a team full of veterans, but I like everything else about him. He is innovative as well, so the players are going to be able to adjust to his tactics quicker. So we will be hiring him on as the head coach for 2 seasons, and let's hope he's the right choice. And I feel like if he's not the right choice, then at that point it may as well just be game over here in Arizona. So we got a whole new assistant coaching staff, a new head coach in Brad Larson. We got 3 free agent signings in Quinn Kipfer, Brady Cleveland, and Scott Gully. Hopefully they all respond favorably. But not only all that, we also have a trade to make. A couple of trades, actually. So the first thing I want to do is shop Cameron Cardona. He's got a 1-year deal, making $2.26 for this year. Hasn't been very impressive over the years. So I don't know why I'm paying a guy like that $2.2. So we're going to shop him and see what we can get. And it looks like we can get a 4th round pick for him. So I think I'll just send him to, maybe I'll just send him to a contender. And it seems like the only contender on this list is Calgary, at least based off the current outlook being Wittenhouse. So accept that offer. There you go. Cameron Cardona traded to Calgary in exchange for a 4th round pick. But the real trade here is going to be with the New York Rangers, who are currently in a rebuild according to their team status, and it certainly looks like it based off their roster composition. We are going to be trading for Callum Ritchie, who is currently making $6.2 for 1 year. Don't worry, you know what we got to do. Retained salary as always, 50%. So he's making $3.115 for this season. And then going back the other way is going to be Jason Foyston. And that's it. That is an accepted offer by the New York Rangers. Obviously, being in a rebuild, they are looking for young players. Foyston's 22, so that makes sense. He's on a minimum contract as well, so it's not going to hurt their cap. And obviously, the fact that we just moved out Mr. Cardona means that we'll be able to afford Callum Ritchie at half his salary after moving Foyston out. So offer trade, and we'll see what they say. Oh, and the idea in getting Ritchie is the fact that he has 18 speed. Well, what I'm looking to do for this season is get much faster in the bottom 6, because I believe I showed this in the last one, but when we take a look at the guys who have top end speed on our team, you have Fedorov and Furcus at 18 speed. Then you have Rudolph and Kuzma at 17. But then after that, not really much in terms of players with elite speed, like 17, 18. And that was part of the idea in signing Quinn Kipfer as well. So hopefully he accepts. So again, looking to get much faster with the forward core this year. So I guess with that, we can simulate and see what happens, not only with the free agent signings, but with the trade to the Rangers. And yes, indeed, the Rangers have accepted our offer. Foyston for Callum Ritchie at 50% of his salary retained. Complete trade. There it is. Callum Ritchie, welcome to the Arizona Coyotes. Ooh, Scott Gully looks like he has been offered by the Chicago Blackhawks. What did we offer him before? 1.5. Okay. What does he want? 1.8. All right. I guess we can do that. I don't want to go too high. I'll go 1.85. And now we have the draft lottery. We're actually in it this time because we did, believe it or not, hold on to the 1st round pick for once. So may as well see if we won it. I mean, I doubt it, considering that's probably, you know, what is that, like a 0.5% chance or whatever it is. But I mean, hey, you never know. So let's see. At 18, you have Pittsburgh, and at 17, you're Arizona Coyotes. Okay, makes sense. At 16, you have Detroit, followed up by Atlanta, Vegas, Chicago, the Rangers, LA, Utah, Washington, Florida, Colorado, Anaheim, Toronto, Tampa, Philly, and Edmonton at number 1, followed by Nashville. All right, let's get through the draft. I mean, I would imagine it's going to be pretty quick, as it usually is here. So let's pick until human, see who's available for us. All right, I mean, you got a few 2.5-star potentials available here at number 17. You have Peter Kastner, looks like he's going to take a little bit. Alfred Grunstrom, he looks pretty interesting. He's definitely further along than Kastner, I would say. Not a fan of his mental ratings though, besides that determination at 19, so I'll keep looking. Miroslav Orsula, he's definitely further along offensively than Grunstrom is, but Grunstrom's more well-rounded. And then he also has a little bit of an issue with the mental rating category, but I would say it's better than Grunstrom's, at least overall. Then you have Harrison Nielsen, looks pretty average all around. And then you have Aino Makila, looks more like a defensive defenseman based off the ratings that we're seeing currently. Once again, another guy who unfortunately struggles with the mental category. That seems to be a recurring theme here with these prospects. Hopefully they develop there as they get older. And then you get down to the 2-star potentials with Michael Cirella, who honestly doesn't look too bad, but I think I would prefer to draft one of the 2.5-star potentials here. So I think I'm going to take one of the 3 centers here, either Grunstrom, Orsula, or Nielsen. Overall, I think I'm most intrigued by Grunstrom because his physical category is much better than Ursula's. And it's not like Ursula's mental ratings are that much better than Grunstrom's, only slightly in most cases. And then Grunstrom's defensive category is better. And the difference in offensive talent with Ursula and Grunstrom, I mean, it's notable for sure, right? Ursula's got that 17 offensive read and 17 puck handling. But I think Grunstrom might be the safest pick here. Like his personality for the most part. I like Nielsen's personality though, performs better under pressure. Everyone loves him and he can adapt to new surroundings. He's projected to be picked at 49. Ursula's supposed to go at number 5 apparently. And Grunstrom's 62. I do look at Ursula's stats. 75 grade last year in his current league. Grunstrom had a 70 last year in his league with 38 points in 36 games played. And then Nielsen had a 60 in the WHL with 63 points in 67 games played. Oh, that's interesting. So Grunstrom's scouting grade is actually at an AD as opposed to AC for Ursula. So it looks like Ursula is more likely to hit a 2.5-star potential, or 2.5-star ability rather. What about Nielsen? Yeah, he's an AC as well. All right, I think that might have just changed things actually. Now the question is, would I take Ursula or Nielsen? Ursula's personality though is not as good, I would say, as Nielsen's for sure. Nielsen's personality is fantastic. I love it. And he's got the AC scouting grade as well. Here's the thing too. Nielsen's physical category, I would say, is further along. Yeah, much further along than Ursula's. And the physical category is pretty important because as we saw by, what's his name? It was Andrew LaCroix. His physical category was very much like Ursula's here. And despite the fact that he was able to put up points, I think he was still holding our team back to an extent. So while Ursula's offensive ratings might be much better, and the fact that he's rated at number 5, he was supposed to be picked up number 5 according to the mock draft. But once again, I don't like to listen to the mock draft too much. I think honestly, I would rather take Harrison Nielsen because I like his personality. I like the fact that his physical category is further along than Ursula's. And even the scout is agreeing that Nielsen is a pretty safe pick. While the scout is also saying that Ursula is a risky suggestion. Well, then again, Nielsen's also apparently a risky suggestion, so he's somehow safe and risky at the same time. I don't know how that works, but okay. So I think just based off everything that we know, I think I will take Harrison Nielsen here. Welcome to the Arizona Coyotes, Harrison Nielsen. Yeah, he went 37 to the Nashville Predators. That was right after Grunstrom as well. All right, so now that we're in the 3rd round, pick number 85, we have 1.5-star potentials left. I think we'll just simulate the rest of this draft. All right, we got all 3 of Brady Cleveland, Quinn Kipfer, and Scott Gully. So let's take a look at what our salary is at now. 84.8. Ooh, okay, we're gonna have to trade somebody. And we're only at 21 players on the roster right now as well. All right, I think we're gonna have to move Nicholas Coco. Unfortunately, I don't want to because he's a solid backup goaltender. He had that 939 save percentage when he first joined us off waivers, and then 920 save percentage last year. So he's a good backup, but he's making 2.42, and that's 2.42 that we need to clear up. And there's a goaltender in free agency, Vaclav Odstrisilik. Not entirely sure on that one. He looks like he is pretty good. Last year in 29 games with the Carolina Hurricanes, he had a 909 save percentage And the best part, he wants a minimum contract at $775,000 for 2 years. So I will definitely do that for him. As for a response, submit offer. And then I may as well just take a look for a team that needs a goaltender, like maybe Buffalo. Yeah, I would say Buffalo needs a goaltender. Chicago as well. Chicago definitely needs a goaltender. Florida. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, look at all these teams without goaltenders. I mean, obviously, though, probably most of them will address it in free agency, but, St. Louis. Teams in this game seem to love either releasing their goaltenders or just not getting goaltenders whatsoever. Apparently, I could barely even move Coco for a 7th, but then again, that's to the rebuilding Panthers. So maybe let's try somebody else. Hardly likely for a 7th from Buffalo. Yikes. I might just have to shop Coco because it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get much back. Unfortunately, a 5th. I mean, I hate to move him for so little, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to fetch much, unfortunately. Which is odd, considering that he's a 2.5-star ability, and considering that his save percentage has been so good over the past couple of years. But again, we just can't... we can't afford him right now, and we need to clear up every penny we can. So I think I'll just wait for Ostrasilik to sign, and after he signs, then we'll move Coco. All right, there you go. Vaclav Ostrasilik has signed with your Arizona Coyotes. So with that being said, we're going to shop Coco once more. And yep, still only getting fists back for him. So I guess we'll send him to Buffalo. They were in need of goaltender, right? Yep, there you go. So Nicholas Coco has been moved to Buffalo. And for whatever reason, Brad Larson has Brady Cleveland on the 4th defensive pair. So that's certainly interesting. That's a bold strategy there. Let's see if it pays off, especially considering the fact that there is no 3rd right defenseman here. Oh, is that from the lineups? Yeah, this is probably because, yeah, I set the lineups earlier when I was the coach, and they haven't been cleared, I guess. So I did create lines from lineups. Yeah, just puts Cleveland on the 4th defensive pair. That's so funny. Oh, right, and we also have Evan Moore in the minors, so I guess we can call him up. We're still at 84 million though. So what happens when I send more down? 83.225. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is below the cap technically, but I think we have the bare minimum of what we need basically. We have one extra player in Gully. That's it. I prefer actually that he plays over Allen, considering that he's got that 19 positioning there. Yeah. All right. I mean, I guess with that being said, we can advance probably to the Hall of Fame inductions here, as there's nothing else I want to do. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what this roster can do with our new coach and Brad Larson. And this is, keep in mind, this is the first time that we have had a standard preference coach. I mean, besides myself, obviously, but the first time that we've had a dedicated standard head coach, because Mr. Marco Sturm is offensively based, and then Andre Tourney is defensively based. So this is the first time we have a standard head coach. So I'm hoping this works out for us. As once again, if it doesn't, then we're probably out of here, to be honest. So I guess we can simulate ahead to August 1st and see the Hall of Fame inductions. And the Hall of Fame inductions for this year are Brad Marchand, Claude Giroux, Morgan Riley, and Pekka Rinne. Uh-oh, first major injury of the year, and it is Fedorov with a sprained elbow for 1 to 2 months. Not good. One of our top 2 centers down. So it turns out we're going to need to sign somebody here, as we don't have any other players signed at forward. It probably has to be someone who hasn't been in the NHL as of late, or who's like a borderline NHLer. About Jacob Crawford, 1.9. Nope, that's still too much. That's still too much. I'm basically looking for a minimum deal here. There we go. Johan Hansen with a $775,000 for 2 years. We'll definitely do that. Holy moly. Ivor Stenberg with 9 points in 3 games. He went off. Let's see game by game. Yeah, he's at 3 points in each of the first 3 games against St. Louis, Minnesota, and San Jose. That's crazy. 100 offensive grade in that game against San Jose. Wow, he's really good. Like it feels like he's a 5-star rather than a 4-star ability. It feels like he's simulating like a 5-star right now. Oh, Xavier Veilleux with an injury, 1 to 2 weeks, dizziness and nausea. All right, I'll put him on the injury list for right now. Luckily, he should be back soon. Holy moly. Okay, look at this. Okay, I think it's safe to say that Brad Larson is the right coach for this team. Take a look at this. We have 4 of the top 5 league scorers right now. In Jagger Furcus with 22 points in 14 games played, Stenberg with 22 points, Saylor with 21, and Manka with 20. I think it's safe to say that Brad Larson was the right choice, at least as of this moment. And we're currently 9-3-2, which means we are first in the Central Division and 6th in the league. So yeah, you have to wonder what could have been last season if we had just had Brad Larson at the helm instead of Marco Sturm. But you know, hindsight's always 2020. So I guess we'll simulate ahead here and we'll keep going, because we're clearly a very good team now all of a sudden with the new hiring of Brad Larson as we check out the team stats briefly, yeah, goals for per game currently at a 4.21, second in the league, and goals against per game is currently 16th in the league with a 3.14. Face-offs, we are 26th in the league with a 49.1. That's a bit ugly. Power play, first in the league with 30%. Penalty kill, 15th in the league with an 82.2. We could be doing better for sure in terms of our overall performance, like in terms of team stats. But as far as our record goes, you know, that speaks 9-3-2 speaks for itself. So let's just go, I would say, another month here up until December. And we do have to get another defenseman up here, it looks like. So we'll call up Evan Moore. Okay, yeah, we found our guy. We found our guy. We are 17-5-5 on December 1st. That is, I would say, the best we have been in the regular season in quite some time. Obviously, still got plenty of games to go, but that is certainly a great start. That is probably the best start we've had in years. So I think we can thank Brad Larson for that, to be honest. I mean, obviously, there's more in play than just Brad Larson, but still, had it been Marco Sturm going into this season, you know this team wouldn't have done that. So that is definitely worth celebrating, I think. And William Lassell, in 20 games played, currently has a .913 save percentage. Good to see. He is definitely doing much better overall, I would say. He's been more stable than last season so far, for sure. But then again, he had a hot start last season too, and then sort of fell back down to earth after a little bit. So we'll see what happens throughout the rest of the season, but it's a good start for sure. It is a very good start for your Arizona Coyotes. As we'll take one look at the player stats here, Jagger Firkus with 39 points in 27 games played. He is certainly earning his keep here as he looks to have another stellar season here. Might end up getting 100 points, who knows. And Ivar Stenberg continues to be a stellar first line center despite only being a 4-star ability with 34 points in 27 games played. Manka with 31, great trade acquisition, and for such a bargain as well. 1.2 for 5 years, that's crazy. I mean, I know that's half retained salary, but still, even if we didn't half retained salary at 2.4, that's still a steal. And then Rhett Saylor, 29 points in 27 games played. I mean, we just have, if this is the year to get it done, this is definitely the year to get it done, because with our upcoming FAs, you have Saylor, who's going to need a contract. 5.2 for 3 years is what he's asking for. Stenberg's asking for a new deal, 6.4. Rudolph's asking for an extension, 7.2. This is the year to win it. This has got to be the year that we get it done. So that being said, we will simulate up to probably the trade deadline because we're going pretty well right now. Oh boy, Richie and Fedorov injured now. Ooh, Richie out for 2 to 3 months with a fractured elbow. He's basically done till the playoffs. That's unfortunate. Then Fedorov, I think, is day-to-day, I saw. Yeah. So now we're going to have to sign 2 more forwards. Man, injuries are not liking us this season. And I think we'll bring an old face back to the team. Keenan Fox, as long as he doesn't want too much. 1.2. Let's see, what about anyone on waivers? No one with a contract that I would be wanting. But unfortunately, everybody in free agency would cost a little bit more than that. So I guess I'm willing to give Fox what he wants there, more or less. I'm gonna see if I can take him down a little bit. All right, we'll go 1 year for 1.25. So he is once again back on the team, if only temporarily. Oh boy, Steven Manka out now, 2 to 3 weeks with a sports hernia. Fedorov injured again, 1 to 2 weeks with a mild shoulder strain. Jeez, this team cannot catch a break with injuries this year. And it seems we're going to need to sign yet another forward. As if we take a look at our injury list, yeah, we have 4 forwards injured right now. Sheesh. All right, I'm going to place a claim for this guy, Rudolph versus Collins, because at the moment we need all the help at forward we can get. We have forwards dropping like flies lately, so I'm going to place a claim for him for sure, just to get somebody to fill out the roster. And of course, as soon as I do that, Manka comes back. Oh my goodness, Fedorov again. 1 to 2 months with a sprained elbow. This guy cannot stay healthy this year. I don't know what it is. Look at all these minor injuries he's had over the past few years. Mild hip strain, groin soreness, minor facial cut 2 times in a row in the same month. Sprained elbow, sore groin, mild shoulder strain, sprained elbow. Sheesh, guy could not catch a break. All right, we are at the trade deadline here. We are 47, 14, and 7. Good enough for 101 points so far on the season. It is safe to say we are a very good team. In fact, we are the best in the league. Let's take a look at the player stats. You have 87 points for Ivar Stenberg so far. He is tearing it up this season. Then you have Jagger Firkus with 70 points in 65 games played. Manka with 61 and 57. Saylor with 61. Kuzma and Christensen with 55. 45 for Rudolph. 41 for Samainen. Veyu with 34, Eriksson with 30, Burrs Collins with 29, and that is 0 with us in 8 games played so far. Fedorov and Richie with 26. Of course, both of them have been injured for quite some time this season. Then you have Allen with 25, Ulrichsen with 23, Kipfer with 18, Scuderi with 16, McQueen with 14, Fox with 11. So Keenan Fox in his return to the lineup for the first time in a couple of years there has 11 points in 21 games played. Hansen with 9, he was a free agent signing. Cleveland with 7 in 44 games. Gully with 5, Leontev with 3, and then Kobasak and Moore with nothing. And then in goal you have William Lassell returning to form with a 918 save percentage in 55 games played. Thank goodness. If he had anything like he had last season or less, then I would be very concerned, especially with this contract making over 14 mil per year. So that's good. That's good. He's returning back to where he was 2 seasons ago, and then also to where he was more or less during the Toroni era. And then you have Osterlich in 14 games played with a 914, so he's doing well as the backup. Now, of course, the problem comes for this team with re-signing everybody because it's not going to be pretty. So let's just do what I know we have to do right now, and that's re-sign Iver Stenberg for 3 years at 6.4. I'm going to try to go, I'll start at 5.5 for 3 years. I know he's going to want more. All right, you know what? 5.85 for 3 years for Iver Stenberg. I will absolutely do that. That is a steal of a deal for a player like him, especially considering what he's done lately. Sather, I think I also want to get locked up because he's been such a key defenseman for us. He's got 61 points in 68 games played, a 71 grade overall. Yeah, I would say that deserves a contract. And he only wants 5.4 for 3 years. That's even the game considers that a great contract. So yes, I will absolutely do that for him. Start out at 4.6, and I got him down to 4.95 for 3 years. I will absolutely do that for him. As for the rest of these guys, they will have to wait for sure. I was only doing Stenberg and Sather because they're both very key parts of this team. That being said, I also don't want to trade anybody right now because we are rolling, and this is, frankly, I think the best chance we have to win the Stanley Cup. It's basically this year, it's cup or bust, I think. It's cup or bust this year because this has definitely been by far the best year Arizona Coyotes have been. So Brad Larson, please, my man, take us to the Stanley Cup. Just one Stanley Cup. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. One Stanley Cup with this team in year number 8. But before we go ahead in the simulation here, we'll check out the team stats just for reference. We are first in the league for goals for per game with a 3.87, and goals against per game. We are also first in the league with a 2.65. Power play is 8th in the league with a 23.1. Penalty kill is 4th in the league with an 84.1. We gotta get it done this year. This has to be the year. Please let this be the year. Oh no, Rhett Sather with wrist soreness for 1 to 2 weeks right before the playoffs start. So he might be out a little bit to start the playoffs. That's unfortunate. All right, we have finished the regular season 55, 19, and 8. Good enough for first in the Central and first in the league. That is 118 points for your Arizona Coyotes, the best in team history. I mean, of course, we had 114 in the 2031-32 season, but we surpassed even that. So it's safe to say this is a very good team now with Brad Larson at the helm. Now let's take a quick look at the player stats before we see who we have in the playoffs. And Stenberg did indeed hit the 100-point mark. He has 102 points this season. What a player. Jagger Firkus with 90 points, 35 goals, 55 assists. Very good year for him. Rhett Sather with 73 points. He keeps killing it. Manka with 72. Kuzma with 71. Christensen with 60. Salminen with 50. Rudolph with 48. Eriksson with 38. Veyu with 37. Allen with 32. Really? Dryden Allen with 32 points? I mean, I guess he got 28 last year, so it shouldn't be too surprising, but I didn't think he would be that kind of player for us. Good to see him chipping in offensively, though. And you have Callum Ritchie with 31, Ulrichsen with 30, Burst Collins with 29, Fedorov with 27 and 43 games played. Poor guy was injured most for a good part of the year. Kipfer with 22 points in 63, 17 for Scuderi and Fox, 15 for McQueen, 10 for Hansen, 7 for Cleveland and Gully, and then 3 for Leontev and Kobasak and Moore with nothing. And then in goal, you have a 917 save percentage for William Lassell. He was consistent all year long, so that is very good to see out of him. Hopefully he'll be consistent in the playoffs as well. And then Osterlich in 17 games played with a 918. So goaltending, skaters, everything was very good this season, as we can tell by the team stats. I mean, I know we just checked this recently at the trade deadline, but we'll check it again. Team stats, goals for per game, first in the league with a 3.8. Goals against per game, first in the league with a 2.66. Faceoffs, we could be better at the faceoffs. That's, I would say, the one area we really struggle with 48.3, 31st in the league. Power play, 7th in the league, 21.7. Penalty kill, 6th in the league, 83.5. And to start out the playoffs of year number 8, we have the Seattle Kraken, who were 44, 33-5 on the regular season. So with that, I'll leave things off here. And the next one, we'll get to the playoffs of year number 8 with your 55-19-8 Arizona Coyotes.